The Power of Less by Leo Babauta. Picture a guy who's completely underwater. Not literally drowning in the ocean, but suffocating under the weight of his own life. He's buried in debt up to his eyeballs. His job keeps him constantly stressed and miles away from his 6 kids. He's carrying extra weight, his health is shot, he can't kick the smoking habit, and honestly, he's miserable about where everything is heading. Every single day feels like chaos. Just this endless barrage of emails, phone calls, and people wanting something from him. He feels overwhelmed and powerless. Here's the kicker, though. He's producing more, doing more, hustling harder than ever before, but inside, he's running on empty. This isn't some made-up story from a self-help novel. This was Leo Babauta's actual life just a few years ago. From that breaking point, he made one simple choice that flipped his entire world upside down. He didn't stumble onto some secret productivity trick or download the latest app. Instead, he discovered something way more fundamental. He discovered the power of less. By embracing this one simple idea, he didn't just quit smoking. He went on to run marathons. He didn't just tidy up his workspace. He wiped out his debt completely and launched 2 successful online businesses, one of which now reaches millions of people every month. And get this, he did all of it while raising his 6 kids and finding a level of peace and calm he never imagined was possible. The book we're diving into today, The Power of Less, is basically the roadmap he drew during that transformation. It's not just another time management book, collecting dust on your shelf. It's a whole philosophy for living. It's a quiet rebellion against our modern obsession with having more, doing more, being more. And here's the bold promise this book makes. By intentionally setting limits and focusing only on what truly matters, you won't just get more done. You'll do it with less stress, more joy, and a deeper sense of purpose than you've ever experienced. So if you've ever felt like you're running on a hamster wheel, constantly busy, but never actually getting anywhere that matters, stick with me. Because over the next few minutes, we're going to explore the simple, beautiful, and honestly life-changing art of limiting yourself to the essential. And in doing so, you'll unlock a power you never knew you had. Our story kicks off with a problem that hits close to home for pretty much everyone today. We're living in this amazing time where we can accomplish things faster than any generation before us. But here's the twist. We've also never been more completely overwhelmed. We're basically, as Babauta puts it, drinking from a fire hose of information. Your day starts with an inbox full of demands and somehow ends with it just as full. We're drowning in notifications, requests, and endless to-do lists. This constant overload isn't just making us inefficient. It's making us stressed, it's wasteful, and deep down we all know this isn't how we want to spend our one precious life. So what's the answer? Do we need to pull a Thoreau, build a cabin in the woods, and go completely off the grid? Babauta says no way. He's proposing something much more practical, a middle ground where you can find calm right in the middle of all the chaos. The solution he discovered boils down to just 2 steps. These 2 steps are the foundation of everything in this book, the beating heart of his entire philosophy. Step 1. Identify the essential. Step 2. Eliminate the rest. That's it. That's the whole secret. It's almost embarrassingly simple, right? Yet, it's the key to unlocking extraordinary results. Think about a sculptor staring at a giant block of marble. Their job isn't to add anything to it. Their job is to chip away everything that isn't the masterpiece hiding inside. Our lives are like that marble block, cluttered with unnecessary stuff, and our job is to find the masterpiece within by chipping away all the rest. To make this real, Babauta shares this great story about 2 reporters. The first reporter is all about volume. He cranks out 30 articles a week. He skims his sources, writes fast, and his editor loves him for his incredible output. He's always busy, always hustling, the picture-perfect modern worker. The second reporter takes a completely different approach. He decides to write just 1 article a week. But because he's got this strict limitation, he knows that 1 article better be absolutely brilliant. He spends half his day just thinking, researching, and brainstorming ideas. He picks one high-impact story. He spends 2 full days researching it, then another 2 days writing and fact-checking every detail. So what happens? The first reporter gets short-term praise and pats on the back. But the second reporter? He produces an award-winning article. It's the piece readers actually remember, the one that gets him promoted, the one that builds his entire career. The first reporter was chasing volume. The second reporter was chasing impact. He did less, but achieved infinitely more. That's the power of less in a nutshell. This idea shows up beautifully in the ancient Japanese art of the haiku. A haiku poet has this strict limit, just 17 syllables. That's all they get. Within that tiny space, they've got to convey a powerful image or emotion. They can't waste a single syllable. This limitation forces them to do something critical. Choose only the most essential words. By choosing the essential, they create massive impact with minimal resources. This brings us to the first 2 guiding principles of this whole approach. Principle 1. By setting limitations, we're forced to choose the essential. Principle 2. By choosing the essential, we create great impact with minimal resources. These 2 ideas are the foundation for everything that follows. Whether we're talking about our projects, our email, our health, or the clutter in our closets, the process is always the same. Set a limit, choose what truly matters, and let everything else fall away. But this raises the million-dollar question. In a world full of noise, how do we actually know what's essential? How do we find the signal through all the static? Babauta offers us a series of questions to use as a filter, a guide for our choices. When you're facing a massive list of tasks, projects, or commitments, just pause and ask yourself. First, what are my core values? What principles do I actually want to live my life by? If a task doesn't align with your values, it's probably not essential. Second, what are my goals? Not just career goals, but life goals. What do I truly want to accomplish this year? This month? Today? Inaction is only essential if it moves you closer to one of your most important goals. And third, what has the biggest impact? Not everything on your to-do list carries the same weight. Some tasks are like tiny pebbles, while others are giant levers that can move mountains. Answering 100 unimportant emails might feel productive, but closing one deal that brings in $10,000 is what actually moves the needle. We've got to learn the difference between being busy and being effective. Once you start asking these questions, you begin seeing your life through new eyes. You realize how much time and energy you're pouring into things that are neither important nor impactful. And that's when you can begin the liberating process of elimination. This is the third principle. Simplify. Simplifying is just the act of cutting away everything that isn't essential. This is where the real work begins, and, honestly, where most of us stumble. It's easy to say we should simplify, but actually doing it, that's hard. It requires us to do something most of us are terrible at: saying no. Saying no to new projects, no to unimportant requests, no to commitments that don't align with our values. Every time you say yes to something non-essential, you're implicitly saying no to the things that truly matter. Saying no isn't about being rude or selfish. It's about protecting your time and energy for your highest priorities. Once you've set your limits and simplified your commitments, you unlock the fourth and maybe most powerful principle: focus. In our multitasking world, we've been sold this lie that juggling a dozen things at once is a badge of honor. Babauta argues it's exactly the opposite. Multitasking is actually less efficient because your brain wastes energy every time it switches gears. It's more complicated, which creates more stress and more mistakes. A life without limits is like taking a single drop of red dye and dumping it into the ocean. The color spreads out and dilutes into nothing. A life with focused limits is taking that same drop of dye and putting it into a small glass of water, where its color becomes vibrant and powerful. True power comes from single tasking. It means when you're writing a report, you're just writing the report. You've shut off your email, silenced your phone, and closed all those other browser tabs. You immerse yourself completely in the task at hand. This state of deep immersion is what psychologists call flow. It's that magical feeling when the world around you disappears, you lose track of time, and you're completely absorbed in what you're doing. We find our greatest happiness not when we're mindlessly scrolling, but when we're fully engaged in a challenge we care about. By eliminating distractions and focusing on one thing at a time, you create the perfect conditions for flow to happen, making your work not only more effective but also way more enjoyable. This intense focus doesn't just apply to work, it applies to your whole state of mind. Babauta encourages us to focus on the present moment. So much of our anxiety comes from worrying about the future or replaying past mistakes. But the only time we can actually live is right now. When you eat, just eat. Pay attention to the taste and texture of your food. When you're walking, just walk. Feel the ground beneath your feet and the air on your skin. This practice of being present is a form of meditation you can do anywhere, anytime, and it's a powerful antidote to the stress of our chaotic lives. Now, setting limits, simplifying, and focusing are powerful ideas, but how do we actually make them stick? How do we turn these concepts into automatic behaviors we don't even have to think about? This brings us to the fifth principle, which is the secret to making any lasting change. Create habits. We all know this feeling. You get fired up on January 1st and decide you're going to meditate, exercise, learn Spanish, and write a novel, all at the same time. By January 15th, you're exhausted, overwhelmed, and you've given up on everything. Your enthusiasm has crashed and burned. Babauta learned a crucial lesson from experience. Trying to form multiple habits at once is a recipe for disaster. Your focus and willpower are finite resources. If you spread them across 10 different goals, you're basically guaranteed to fail at all of them. The solution is what he calls the power of less challenge. It's incredibly simple. Focus on creating only one new habit per month. Just one. For 30 days, you pour all your energy and attention into making that one habit stick. Let's say you want to start exercising. You don't commit to working out for an hour every day. That's way too big. Instead, you follow the sixth and final principle: start small. This principle is your secret weapon for success. You decide you're going to exercise for just 10 minutes a day. That's it. It's a goal so ridiculously achievable that it's almost impossible to fail. Why does starting small work so well? Because it bypasses your brain's natural resistance to change. A huge goal feels intimidating and requires tons of motivation. A tiny goal requires almost none. You don't need to feel motivated to exercise for 10 minutes. You just do it. Success builds on momentum. When you start with a small guaranteed win, you can build on it. After a week of exercising for 10 minutes, maybe you feel like doing 15. After a month, that habit is becoming second nature. The next month, you can focus on a new habit, like eating more vegetables, while your exercise habit continues running on autopilot. A small success beats a glorious failure every single time. Over the course of a year, by focusing on one small habit each month, you can completely transform your life in 12 different ways. This is exactly how Babauta pulled off his incredible transformation, from running marathons to becoming debt-free. It wasn't one giant leap. It was a series of small, consistent, focused steps. So we've got our 6 principles. Set limitations, choose the essential, simplify, focus, create habits, and start small. Now, let's see how these principles come to life when we apply them to the most challenging areas of our lives. Let's start with goals and projects. Most of us have this massive list of things we want to accomplish. But as we've learned, a long list just waters down your focus. Babauta introduces the one-goal system. At the beginning of the year, or whenever you're ready, you look at your long list of ambitions and choose just one. The one that excites you most, the one that'll have the biggest impact on your life. For the next 6 months to a year, that becomes your sole focus. You then break that one goal down into a smaller one-month sub-goal. Each week, you set a weekly goal that moves you toward that sub-goal. And every single day, you choose one simple action that moves you toward your weekly goal. This becomes your most important task for the day. This system ensures that every single day, you're taking a small, concrete step toward your biggest dream. For all your other work, he recommends the simple projects list. You take your massive list of 10 or 20 ongoing projects and choose just 3. 3 is the magic number. It's enough to let you switch between them if you're waiting on someone else, but not so many that you lose focus. Everything else goes onto an on-deck list. You don't touch the on-deck list until you've completed all 3 active projects. This forces you to focus on finishing things, not just starting new ones. This same logic applies to daily tasks. Instead of working from a never-ending to-do list, you start each day by identifying your 3 most important tasks, or MITs. These are the 3 things that, if you get them done, will make your day a success. You tackle these 3 first, before you get sucked into the whirlwind of email and meetings. By knocking out your biggest priorities when your energy is highest, you guarantee you're always moving forward on what matters most. Everything else you accomplish that day is just gravy. And what about the beast that eats up so much of our time and energy, email? Babauta's approach to email is like a masterclass in applying limitations. First, he says, limit when you check it. Instead of living in your inbox all day, set 2 specific times to process email, maybe 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. Turn off all notifications. This simple habit alone can free up hours of your day and create long blocks of uninterrupted, focused work time. Second, when you do open your email, your goal is to process to empty. You go through each email one by one and make an immediate decision. Delete it, archive it, reply if it takes less than 2 minutes, forward it, or add the action to your to-do list. The email itself doesn't get to live in your inbox. Your inbox isn't a to-do list. It's a processing station. Third, and this one's radical, he recommends limiting the length of your replies. He follows a 5-sentence rule. This forces you to be concise, get to the point, and respect both your time and the time of whoever you're writing to. By applying these simple limits, you can transform email from a constant source of stress into a powerful, efficient tool that you control, instead of it controlling you. Ultimately, the power of less is a philosophy that extends to every corner of your life. It's about decluttering your workspace so your mind can be clear and focused. It's about slowing down so you can actually enjoy the present moment instead of racing through it. It's about simplifying your commitments so you have time for the people and activities you truly love. It's a journey away from the frantic, overwhelming pressure to do everything, and toward the quiet, powerful confidence that comes from doing only what's essential and doing it well. It's about understanding that simplicity isn't about having less. It's about making room for more of what truly matters. As we wrap up our journey through the power of less, I can't help but feel this profound sense of calm washing over me. In a world that's constantly screaming for our attention, a world that treats busyness like a status symbol, Leo Babauta's message feels less like a productivity hack and more like a lifeline thrown to someone drowning. The real genius of this book isn't some complex revolutionary new theory. Its genius is in its radical simplicity. The idea that you can achieve more by doing less sounds completely backwards, and yet, as you dive into the principles, you realize it's a fundamental truth we've somehow forgotten along the way. What I find most powerful about Babauta's approach is how deeply human it feels. He doesn't parade around as some productivity guru who was born perfectly organized. He starts by showing us his own mess. The debt, the poor health, the constant stress. His transformation feels real and, more importantly, achievable. He gives us permission to be imperfect, to start small, and to focus on making gradual, lasting change, rather than attempting some massive, unsustainable life overhaul. The one habit at a time principle is perhaps the most practical and life-changing piece of advice in the entire book. We all know what we should be doing to improve our lives. The problem isn't lacking information. It's lacking a sustainable method for actually implementing it. By pouring all your energy into a single tiny habit for a month, you make change not just possible, but probable. This book is a powerful reminder that our time and energy are our most precious, non-renewable resources. Every time we say yes to a distraction, to some non-essential task, or to a commitment that drains us, we're stealing that precious energy away from our goals, our passions, and the people we love. Simplicity, in this context, isn't about deprivation. It's about strategic allocation. It's about creating space in your life for what truly fills you up. So how can you start applying this wisdom today, right now? Here are 3 small, simple actions you can take. 1. Choose your one MIT for tomorrow. Before you go to bed tonight, don't write a long to-do list. Just identify the single most important thing you want to accomplish tomorrow. Write it on a sticky note and stick it where you'll see it first thing in the morning. Promise yourself you'll do that one thing before getting lost in the noise of the day. 2. Go on an email diet. For the next 3 days, commit to checking your email only twice a day. Turn off all the dings, pop-ups, and notifications on your phone and computer. You might feel a bit anxious at first, but I promise, by day 3, you'll feel a sense of freedom and focus you haven't experienced in years. 3. Ask the 2 magic questions. Pick one area of your life that feels cluttered or overwhelming. Maybe it's your desk, your digital files, or your weekend schedule. Take just 10 minutes and ask yourself Babauta's 2 magic questions. What is truly essential here, and what can I eliminate? You'll be amazed at how much lighter you feel by simply removing a few non-essential things. This book isn't about becoming some minimalist monk living in a cave. It's about becoming more intentional. It's about trading the chaotic frenzy of more for the focused power of less. It's about designing a life that isn't just productive, but is also peaceful, meaningful, and deeply enjoyable. That was a summary of The Power of Less by Leo Babauta. We've covered the core ideas today, but I'll be honest with you. A summary is like looking at a photograph of a beautiful landscape. You can appreciate its beauty, but you can't feel the sun on your skin or the wind in your hair. The real magic happens when you experience the book for yourself. It's in those quiet moments when a particular story or simple phrase connects with you in an unexpected way. This summary is designed to help you decide if this book deserves your time. If anything we've talked about today has struck a chord, I'd encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning new information. It's an experience that can genuinely change the way you approach your days and, ultimately, your life. The link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. That way, you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the world's most successful minds. Let's keep learning and growing together.